Good. Online students, good afternoon. Online students. Online students, good afternoon. Am I audible? Done with the task? Yesterday's task? Pakka. All got? Huh? Can I see the task, please, before I start the class? Online students, even you people also, can I see the task? Online students. Yes. Can you please share your screen and show the task? Even you'll also see how online students have done. Huh? We'll see. Class ಬರ್ದಿರೋರೆಲ್ಲ output ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ. Yes, Charan, can you share your screen? Charan. Teju, you were absent yesterday. Charan. Can you share your screen and show the output? As soon as I took their name, no, they left the class only. No, Ashija. You were absent yesterday. Then why did you say yes, sir? What about others? What about others? Okay, I'll check the task later. For you people also. Okay. So what and all we learned yesterday, guys? Semantic elements. What are the different types of semantic elements? Yeah, what are the different types of semantic elements? Header, nav, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ರೋ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ. Header, nav, article, section, aside, footer. Yes. And what you learned something else? Pseudo elements. What are the different types of pseudo classes? Link, hover, focus, invalid, valid, not pseudo class, child elements. Yes. And then what are the different types of pseudo elements? Different types of pseudo elements. You have something called as first line, first letter, then before and after method. Yes or no? These and all you saw yesterday. Other than that, did you see anything else? Animations and transform. What are the different types of animation properties? Animation name, animation duration, animation iteration count. Why do you give animation iteration count? How many times? So that it runs in a loop. That is the reason you people will be using animation iteration count. Yes or no? Other than that, what you learn? Transform properties. What are the different types of transform properties? Yes, what are the different types of transform properties? You have something called as from, to, okay, and transform. For the transform, what if the image has to move? Then you will be using the property called as translate. Yes or no? Clear with this? Today we will learn something called as flex and grid properties. Nine, Dushyant. Yeah, take down next one. Flex and grid properties. The next one is called as flex and grid properties. Yeah, what do you mean by flex, guys? What do you mean by flex? Flex. I'm not like. What do you mean by FLEX? Flex. What is flex? Or what is the difference between flex and grid? Tell no. Grid is grid. You get like net structure. Huh? Flex is ಅರ್ಧೋಗಿರೋದಾ ನೆಟ್ ಅರ್ಧೋಗಿರೋದು. What do you mean by flex? Okay, first of all, tell me the difference between flex and grid. Tell me the difference between flex and grid. Online students, even you people should say, I'm not alone asking to offline students. Yes, tell me. What do you mean by flex or what do you mean by grid? ಹೇಳ್ರೋ ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಮೌನ ಕವಿದ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಇದೆ. See, I will tell that flex, it is used to display your output in one dimensional. It is used to display your output in one dimensional manner. Then what may be your grid? Okay, it is used to display your output in two dimensional. Yes or no? Now tell me, what is the difference between one dimension and what is the difference between two dimensions? What is the difference between one dimension and what is the difference between two dimensions? Yes. Flex and grid matra gottilla. One dimension, two dimensional adru gottu tane. Yeah, what is one dimensional or what is two dimensional? At least tell, ma'am, this is one image, this is one dimensional. This is another image, this is two dimensional. How do you tell it is one dimensional or two dimensional? Forget about rows and columns. What do you mean by one dimensional? So can I call this as one dimensional? Yes or no? What is two dimensional? Ma'am, ಎರಡು side ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ma'am. What is two dimensional? No, generally in an image format you tell. What do you mean by two dimensional? Hey, haven't you seen two dimensional images, huh? You've seen or you're not seen? What are those two dimensional images which you have seen? Madro, Google Madro. Google Madro. Google ಮಾಡಕ್ ನಿನ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಬೇಕಂತೆ ಕೊಡು. ಬೇಡ ತಾನೆ? ಮಾಡು. Online students, what do you mean by two dimensional? 1D means one axis, 2D means two axis it seems. 1D is just a dot, 2D is x and y axis. Howda? Yes sir? Even I too don't know. Please go. Yes. It does. See, what is one dimensional? It has height and width. Two dimensional? Two dimensional only has height and width. One dimensional does not have height and width. Huh? Yes? Yes or no? First, you people tell me the difference between one dimensional and two dimensional, then only I'll move forward. That is one dimensional. One dimensional is nothing but you just draw one line ante. And two dimensional is plain what? So can I call this one as two dimensional? What is three dimensional? Moor side kanutte ma'am. Front, back, bottom. Huh? What is four dimensional? All the four sides. It's, have you people seen, I mean, in your this cube, have you seen? This is four dimensional. Yes or no? So flex is nothing but it is used to display the output in one dimensional manner. So whenever you use alone called as border properties, you will be giving the width, you will give the style, and you will give the color. Yes or no? There you will get only one single line. That is called as one dimensional manner. Thus, for the same border properties, you give height and width. Then you can display one entire box, no, with the border. Then that is called as two dimensional image. Clear? Done? Yes or no? The different types of flex properties are, take down the different types of flex. Okay, don't. Okay. ತಪ್ಪಾಗತ್ತೆ ಕಣ್ರೋ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಲ್ಲಿ ತರ ಲೊಚ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? Okay, so now my very first requirement is I want to draw one outer box. I want to draw one outer container. Okay, and inside that I am supposed to have another one with 1, 2, 3. I am supposed to have like this. How to display? You understood my first requirement? I am supposed to have one outer container. Okay. Inside that, I also want one inner container. I also want one inner container. But I have to mention the numbers. I have to get the rows. Rows are columns are though. Rows as 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I want to get like this. How to do? How to do? Input tag. Div tag. Yes or no? So we will see that directly. Yes, instead of me writing, let us see it directly. Okay. Clear? Or you can say that flex, take down the first heading as flex and grid properties. Flex and grid properties are used. Flex and grid properties are used for the layouts of web page. Flex and well now guys. Online students, am I audible? Okay. So now let me save this. And now what I'll try to do, I'll just run this program. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so now let me go here, run, start debugging. No. I'm not getting any output. Why? I'm not getting any output. Why? Because you have just said, whenever you type div, first of all, you have not passed any content inside that. I will not get to know how my div tag works. But the div tag is there. The div tag, it's there. But since I have not passed any content, I'm not getting any output. Clear with this? Yes. So now, if I want the outer container, for that outer container, if I have to add the border, what should I do? What should I do, guys? First of all, I have to use the style tag. Yes or no? First of all, let me use the style tag. And inside the style tag, first one, I have to get the which container? First of all, I have to get this outer container. Yes. So now I will say dot a hash a. Why dot? It is class selector. So I will say dot and I have to take it as outer. Okay. And then here I will say border. I will give 2 pixels. I will take solid and I will take black only. Okay. Clear? Clear. I'll save this. Go back. Where is the border? Where is the border? Why I'm not getting the border here? If you people observe here I've taken small o. Yes or no? Here I have considered capital O. So your CSS is case sensitive. Okay. So now let me change this to smaller. Let me save this. Go back and refresh. Am I getting one single line? That is nothing but your one dimensional. Yes. And now let me give some height and width for this. Let me give some height. I'll give 200 pixels and let me give some width to it. And let me take this as 500 pixels. Okay. Now let me save this. Go back and refresh. Yes. Am I getting it? Am I getting the border? Yes. So now what I have to do? I have created the outer container. Now I have to create one inner container with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes or no? Then how to create now? So now I will consider one more class called as inner. And inside this, I will pass the same border properties, Control C, Control V, Control S. Okay, let me go here and refresh it. I'm just getting the border, that's all. Where is that 1, 2, 3? Where is the 1, 2, 3? Now, if you people observe here in the body tag, in this div tag, have I mentioned any content? So now, let me give it here as 1, 2, oh sorry. 2, 3, and 4. Let me save this, go back and refresh. Am I getting it? Yes, Ashtena. Let me differentiate between outer border and inner border. Okay, for inner border, let me pass some background color. Let me give some background color where I have to give here inside the inner class. Yes or no? Let me give something called as background color and let me take it as yellow. Let me save this. Go back. Refresh. Okay. Ishtena. Is this what I want to do? Okay. Now, you people have this in the format of rows. Yes or no? Now I want it in the form of columns. Now I want it in the form of columns. Yes. How to display that? Now, inside this outer tag, I will use the very first property in Flex called as display flex. And let me save this. Will I get it in the form of flex? I have said you display it in the form of flex, but I haven't said that in which direction you want that flex, in which direction or how you want that flex. So this is in the form of rows. I want it in the form of columns. I want it in the form of columns. So what I will do? So now I will use another one property called as flex direction, and I will say it as row only. Now you people see what will happen. Is it changing? I want it in the form of which? I want it in the form of columns. So I have to take here it as what? I have to take here as column. And let me save this. Go back and read. Ian, I thought, okay. Oh. Where I have to display this? Guys, I want the outer content, no? Sorry. I will say display and I will take it as flex. Let me save this. Go back and refresh. See? When you just say display it in the form of flex, it already got converted to columns. Yes or no? First it was rows. Now it is columns. Ma'am, no, I want to again change it to rows, ma'am. I want the direction to be 2 rows. So I will say flex direction and I will call it as row. Will I get it in the form of row? What is happening, guys? What is happening here? So when you give something called as display it as flex, by default, it will only take it as columns. By default, it will only take it as columns. Now, what will happen if I change this to columns now? Can we see? Yes or no? Okay, let me save this. Go back. Refresh. See? Don't you think it's acting ulta? Yes or no? Yes or no? So when you give rows, it will act like columns. When you give columns, it will act like rows. Now I want it in the form of columns or rows. Columns and rows and columns. Now how I want? I want it in the form of rows. So I will give it as, here it as columns. Columns or rows. I will give it as row. Now I'll save this. Guys, ulta kandro. Rows andre columns aag tagolutte. Columns andre rows aag tagolutte. Clear? Clear? Done with this? Ma'am, now I want this entire thing to be in the center. I want this columns. All the columns which is displayed, I want it in the center. How to display? How to display then? Next one, you have another one property called as, justify content, and you will tell it as center. And let me save this. Go back and refresh. Is it coming in center? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, ma'am, this is coming to the if you can see here, it is getting attached to the outer column, outer container. No, ma'am, I just wanted one single line. I want it in one single line. Then how to give it? Then you will be using something called as align items, and I will say it to center. Now, if you see here, can you see? Can you see it, guys? Should I zoom it? 1 second. Clear? Clear? Yes, I am getting in the form of columns. Yes or no? And that too, that is not getting attached to the entire outer container, but it is getting attached here. Ma'am, now I want to add spaces, ma'am. 1 should be displayed at this corner, 2 should be here, 3 should be here, 4 should be at the last. Then how to give it? I want each cell to be separated from each other. It's all together. Now I want it to be separated, ma'am. Then how to separate that? Match, no. Hey, I'm doing flex property. Da. Now what you will do, guys? What you will do? Now, in this, second. Now, in this justify content only, I will give something called as space around. Okay, I will save this, go back and refresh. What happened? What happened? It was together. Now, each cell is getting different. I mean, it is getting separated from each other. Yes, ma'am, I want this one to be attached to this outer line. 4 to be attached to that outer line. 2 should be here. 3 should be here. Then how to do? In this justify content only, you have the first one which you saw was center. Justify content center. Next one you have something called as justify content space around. Justify content space around. You have another one property called as justify content space between. You have something called as justify content space between. Let me save this, go back and refresh. What is happening? Now is my one getting attached to the outer container? Yes or no? Yes. The 4 is getting attached there, 2 and 3 you have. Ma'am, but I don't know how much space is there. I want all the cells to be equally placed. From one to another, I want all the cells to be equally placed. So then I will be using something called as, in that same justify content, I will use something called as space evenly. And I'll save this, go back and refresh. Can you see? Can you see, guys? From for each cell, you have equal spaces. Now you people tell me, can you people create one Excel format? Without using Excel, can you create this? Yes or no? Can you create one Excel? Yes or no? Yes. Clear with flex properties? So, if you give it as rows, it will act like columns. If you give columns, it will act like rows. That too, when you will be using display it as flex, then only it will be vice versa. Means it will be the opposite to each other. Yes. So now, if I want to add spaces in between each cell, then you will say something called as justify content space around means it will get splitted. Yes. Space between means after each cell there is spaces. Then space evenly means for each cell the equal spaces are divided. Yes. Another one. Space evenly. I to space between you got to know. Space around also you got to know. Space evenly also you got to know. And you have something called as center. Clear with this? Clear with this? Now, a very minimum task, a very basic task is, you people create one Excel sheet. In that you should have name. Roll number, branch, and then you should have, what else can you have here? Phone number, email, okay, and then date of birth. Okay, so now this is one Excel sheet. Okay, this is one Excel sheet, and I want 3 data to be added inside this one. I want 3 data to be added inside this Excel sheet. Can you add? Can you add? I have showed for 1 row. Yes. Yes. So can you do it? Can you do it? Please, I'll just give you 10 minutes of time. Please complete it soon. Fast. Online students, is it clear? Online students, is it clear? Online students, please reply in the chat box. Is it clear? You have any confusion with flex properties? Online students, are you people following? Teju, can you explain one more time? Okay. Hey guys, wait. One more time I will explain. So what is my very first requirement? Now you people guide me. Let me help your friend. Hey, wait. Wait. Now let us help your friend, okay? So now, what is my very first requirement? What is my very first requirement? My very first requirement is I have to display one Jorage. Jorage. I have to display one outer container. Yes or no? ಹುಡುಗಿರ್ಗೆ ಅವರ ತಮ್ಮಂದಿರ ಜೊತೆ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಗಂಟ್ಲು ಹರ್ಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಅದು ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರೌಡಿಗಳ ತರ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ರೋಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಯ್ 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 ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್ ನೋ? ಮ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಗಂಡನ ಜೊತೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಜಗಳಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋತಿರೋ ತಾನೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕಿರ್ಚಾಡ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ ಡನ್. ಸೊ ನೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಒನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನರ್? ನೀವು ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಕಣೋ. You have to display one outer container, and inside this what I want, Charan, please reply in the chat box soon. Charan. Okay, an original tone al maatadrene ನೀವು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಕಲಿಯೋದು. Okay, so now for that one, first of all, inside the body tag I have considered 6 div tags. Clear till here? Inside the body tag I have considered 6 div tags, and the very first main div tag I have taken it as what? I have taken it as outer, and then inside that first div tag only I have created 4 rows. I have created 4 rows. Okay, so only let me comment this. Wait for a second. Okay, clear, Charan? See, now if you observe here, okay. So now what am I doing here? First I have to display the outer content. Yes or no? Charan, I have to display the outer content. First of all, in the inner content, I want the numbers as 1, 2, 3 and 4. So only inside the div tag, I have passed the content as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Clear till here, Charan? And next, I have to create one outer container. For that one, I'm using which property, which selector? I'm using class selector, and I am taking it as, so for that class selector, you have given one name. The first one is for outer container. So for that outer container, I have given the border. Alone, if I give the border, what will happen? Only one single line will be displayed. Yes. For that one, I am giving some height and width, and I am using the very first property in flex called as display flex. Display flex. So now, what will happen if you just say display flex? Now see, Charan, I will just save this, go back and refresh. See, as soon as I give it as display flex, my rows will be converted into columns. Yes or no? So now what I will do, again I want to convert it into rows, means I will be using something called as what? What? I will be using something called as flex direction, and I will give it as row only. And let me save this, go back and refresh. Yes, when I give it as columns, it will take in the form of rows. When I give it as rows, then it will be displayed as columns. Clear till here, Charan? Now my second requirement is, it is displayed in the form of rows. Now I want to display it in the form of columns. Yes or no? So only I'm using the property called as flex direction, and I will take it as rows. I will take it as row, and I will save this. I'll go back and refresh. See, you are getting it in the form of columns. Yes or no? Clear till here? Now, I want all this entire column to be displayed in the center. I want this entire columns to be displayed in the center. So you will be using something called as, so don't you think that this is the content here? Yes or no? So now I will be using the property called as what? I will be using the property called as justify content, and I will say it as center. I'll save this, go back and refresh. Can you see, Charan, it is in the center? Yes. Ma'am, I want to display it in the end. So you will say justify, and can you see? End. I'll save this, go back, refresh. It is displaying it in the end. Yes, clear till here? Now, I want, see, when you see this output, it is getting attached to the outer container. I just want it to be displayed in the center. I want it to be displayed in the center, but I don't want it to be attached to the outer container. So then I will be using another one property called as what? I will be using something called as align items, and I will take it to center. Let me save this, go back and refresh. Can you see here? Ma'am, it is getting in the corner, ma'am. Why? Because here, what have you given? Justify content at end. So now if you give the same thing to center, go here, refresh. Clear till here, Charan? Charan, clear till here? Charan. Okay. So now, if you see the cells, everything is attached together. Everything is attached together. I want to give some spaces between them or around them. Okay. So, in the justify content only, you have one property called as, first one is center. Next one, you have something called as space around. So when I save this, if you see between each cells, it has been created one space. Yes. Now I will use another one property called as what? Space. I will use something called as space between, and I'll save this. Now again, if you go and see, there are spaces between each cell. Yes. And my very last property is what? Ma'am, I want after each cell, I want equal spaces to be divided. Then you will be using something called as space. You will be using something called as space evenly. And let me save this, go back and refresh. Clear till here, Charan? Charan, clear till here? Charan. Charan, clear till here? Clear. Okay. So now my another requirement is the very last one. The very last one. See, it is displaying it as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes. The first column, second column, third column, and fourth column. Ma'am, I want to reverse, ma'am. I want to reverse the entire column. It should be displaying as 4, 3, 2. How to display? How to display? Enna reverse madli? Not column reverse. So here you will go to flex direction. Yes or no? You have something called as row reverse. And I'll save this. Go back and refresh. Can you see? It is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Clear? Done with flex properties? Yes. What was the task I gave you? What was the task I gave you? I said you people to create one Excel sheet where you have to add 3 datas. 1, 2, and 3 datas. Yes? Yes or no? In that one, how many columns you should have? You should have name, roll number, branch, phone number, email, date of. Charan, clear? Charan. Charan, clear, Charan? Okay. Yes, please continue. So in justify content, how many properties do you have? What and all values you can pass? In justify content, what and all values you can pass? One is center, space around, space between, and space evenly. In flex direction, how many properties you can pass? Row, column, row reverse, and column reverse. Clear? Done? Please continue. Please continue with the task. ಮುಗಿತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅವನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಗಣೇಶ ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಜೊತೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ. ನಿನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ? ಹಾ, ಗೌರಿ ಜೊತೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ? ಹಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ರು ಒಂದೇ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್. ಏನಂದೆ? ಟ್ವಿನ್ಸ್. ಪಿಂಕಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಅಕ್ಕ ಎಲ್ಲೋಗಿದ್ವಿ ಗಣೇಶ ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಾ? ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಹಾಕದ್ ಮರ್ತೋದ್ರಿ. ತಾನೇ? ಚಾರ್ಜರೇ ಮರ್ತೋದಾ? ನಾಳೆಯಿಂದ ಅವ್ನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀನ್ ಶರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕದೆ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡು. ಹಂಗೆ ಬಾ. ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ. You understood, ma? Where is Jyoti Krishna? He has not come. ಸರ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಪಕ್ಕ ನನ್ನೇನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅಂದೆ. ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ done. Laughing ladies. Seven against the youth. Huh? You understood, ma? ಇಬ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ನಿಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ? ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? Completely. ಹೆಂಗೈತಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಇದೆ. ಹೋಗು ಅವ್ನ್ ಪಕ್ಕ ಕುತ್ಕೋ ಹೋಗು. ನೀನ್ ಅವ್ನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ನೋಡು. ಅವ್ನ್ ಪಕ್ಕ ಕುತ್ಕೋ ಹೋಗು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ ತೊಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಬಿಡು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ ಕುತ್ಕೋ, ಅವ್ನ್ ನೋಡ್ಲಿ. ಅವನಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗಿ ಬಗ್ಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾನ. ಅಥವಾ ಚೇರಿಂಗ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕೋ ನೋಡು. ಹೋಗಪ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೆ, ಹೋಗ್ ಕುತ್ಕೋ. ಇಬ್ರಿಗೂ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಅಂತೆ. ಹೋಗು ಹೋಗೋ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗೋ. ಅವ್ನ್ ನೋಡಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನ್ ಬರೀ ಆಟದಲ್ಲೇ ಕಾಲ ಕಳೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೋಗ್ ಮಧ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗು. ನೀನ್ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡು. ನೀನು ಒಂದ್ ರೋ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅವನು ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಏನ್ ಬರೀ ಅವ್ನ್ ಬರೀ ಕುಟ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ನೀನ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಕೂತಿರ್ತೀಯ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೋ ನೀನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡು. ಓಕೆ ವಿವೇಕ್, ನೀನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗುದ್ರು ಮಾನ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಬಿಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉಗಿಬಾರ್ದ? ಉಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಕಲಿತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ನನ್ ಕಿವಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಇದೆ ಕಣೋ. many data just here. If you have to add the second row, then you will create another data. Next one. ಅರ್ಥಾಯ್ತಾನ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು? ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥಾಯ್ತಾನ? ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ, ಏನ್ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನ? ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೊಬ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. So you're understanding? You getting it? Good. ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾ ನನ್ ಕೇಳ್ದ? ನೀನ್ ಕೊಯ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೇಳ್ಸುತ್ತೆ? ಹಾ ಏನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳು? ತಲೆ ಓಡಿಸು, ತಲೆ ಓಡಿಸು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ತಲೆಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡು. ತಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಾಡ್ಸೋದಲ್ಲ, ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಚಾಚಿ ಪಿಟಿ ತೆಗಿತೀಯ ಅಂತ. ನಡಿ ಈ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳು, ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಹೇಳು. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? ಸರ್ಚು ನಾನು ಅದ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಏನ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ? ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮನೆ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗು ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ? ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ, ಇದು ಒಂದ್ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೆ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವ್ ಟೈಪ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? ಕರಕರವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? You have to adjust. You're very fast. They all have to do, na? ದುಷ್ಯಂತ್, ನಾನು ನಿಂಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೋ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ. ಮಾಡ್ದಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೋ ಅವ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೋ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೋ ಥರ್ಡ್ ರೋ ದುಷ್ಯಂತ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನಾನೇನಾದ್ರು ತಿರುಗ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಅವ್ನ ಕೈ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೋ, ನೀನ್ ಓದಿತೀನಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೋನೇ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡು. ಬತ್ತೀನಿ ಕಣೋ, ಅದೇನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಹೇಳ್ಮಾ. ಇವಾಗ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ರೋ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ತಗೋಬೋದಾ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ತಗೊಂಡದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದಾ? ಬೇಡ, ನೀವ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ತಾನಾಗ್ ತಾನೇ ಶ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. See, since you have considered only one div tag, it is like that. ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಾನೆ. ಈಗ ಇದು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ರೋ ಕೊಡು.
ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಹ್ಮ್ ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬೇಗ ತೆಗಿತೀನಿ. ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡು ಈ ಥರ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿపోಯಿತು. ಇನ್ನೂರು ರೂಪಾಯಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಾಟ್ ಶಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಡನ್ ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಟ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಅಂತಲೇ ರೋ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಳಗಡೆ ನೀನು ಎಷ್ಟೇನು ಮಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಾ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು 3 ಸತಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಯಿತಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಇದು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಯಿತು, 3 ಸತಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇವಾಗ ತೋರಿಸಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಇನ್ನು ಬ್ರೇಕಪ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ವಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ನೇಮ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೇಮ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ರೋಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ರೋಲ್ ನಂಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಗಿವ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ 1 ನೇಮ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಇವಾಗ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದನ್ನು ರನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಥರ ಬಂತು. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಏನಂತ ರೋ ಅಂತ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಡಾಟ್ ರೋ ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ border and I'll give 2 pixels and red cotton. Save. Logi.
Guys, will you people do the task? Yes or no? Banta? Eldrigu? Akka? Okay. Next one we will learn. Banta magla. Emma? Okay. Take down the next one. Take down the next one as grid properties. Grid properties. Online students, are you people alive? Online students. So now, just you people observe this grid property output, okay? How is it, guys? Color, ma'am. Yes or no? Can you observe? Yes. So now, you have to display like this. Okay? How to display like this? Kashta enilla. It is very easy. Neen usru bidbeda. Okay? So now, let me go here. And now let me save it as g.html. Okay. So in this grid properties, let me consider this. Now let me remove this meta tag. And now here I will mention it as what properties? What properties? Grid properties. Clear? Clear? Now inside the body tag, let me consider one outer tag and 6 div tags. One outer tag and 6 div tags. Okay. So now, what have I saved it as? Huh? Control Alt. Lakano. There is G. Yeah. Okay. So now here, so now what I have done here, if you people observe here, the first same outer element I have created. Yes. So now I want it separately. Yes. So have I created inside that div tag only, or after the outer div tag I have created separate inner tags? After the div tag, after the first div tag here, that is class is equals to outer. Okay. After that only I have created all the other div tags. See here. See, before what I did, before previous output, here only I created the div tag. Why did I create it? Why did I create it? So that inside that outer container, you get that inner container. Yes or no? Now, I want outer container separate and I want inner container separate. Okay. What happens in grid properties is, what happens inside this grid property is, if you people observe here, okay, so now, okay, so now what is the first one? So now inside the style tag only I have to write everything. Yes or no? So now what is the first I have to create the outer container? Yes. So I will take it as outer. And inside this outer container, let me add the properties. The first one is I have added the border properties. And then I have set one very first property that is in your grid called as display it as grid. Okay. So now after this, see, before and all, when you used to just display, let me wait 1 second, I'll show this. Let me run this for a second. Now you people tell me what's the difference between that one and this one. What is happening? I have got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have got the border also, but I don't have the height and width. Shall I add the height and width? Yes or no? So now for this outer, let me add height. But before giving height, instead of giving height, I will use another one property, something called as grid template rows or grid template columns. Okay, grid template rows or grid template columns. Okay, either you can give here as, see, wait a second, let me comment this. Okay, so now what I'll try to do here, the same I will use grid template columns. Okay, and I will give it as 100 pixel and I will give 100 pixel. Clear? And I'll save this, go back here and refresh. I have to do it inside inner, na? I didn't get you. Huh? That is closing. Clear now? Yes. So now, if you people observe here, previously, when you were using flex properties, you were just getting the output. When you were using flex properties, if I used to give the number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it either used to get displayed in the form of rows or it used to get displayed in the form of columns. Yes or no? But when you are using something called as display grid, and you are giving some pixels to it. Yes or no? You are giving some pixels to it. So can you see here? I have given 6 div tags. I have taken 6 div tags. But if you see here, it is getting displayed into 2 columns. And it is not displaying in one single row. Why? Why? If you people observe here, I have used one property called as grid template columns. And there, how many values I have given? 100 pixel and 100 pixel. You know, forget about the pixel. Don't you think that if I'm giving something called as grid template columns, this is nothing but column number 1 and this is nothing but column number 2? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, ma'am, for 2 columns, you will give 100 pixel and 100 pixel. If I have 100 columns, will you write 100 times 100 pixel, 100 pixel, 100 pixels? Yes or no? At that time, what you people used to do? At that time, what you people should do is nothing but you have to use something called as grid template columns only. You will be using grid template columns only. But here, the first number, you will be using one function called as repeat. Means for how many times that column should repeat? You will be using grid template columns and you will be using repeat function. Ma'am, what does this do here? Previously, I gave 100 pixel and 100 pixel. That was for 2 columns. Now, I am directly entering how many number of columns I want. I am directly entering how many number of columns I want and I'm passing something called as auto. What is this auto is nothing but it will only create the spaces for that. It will only create the spaces for that. Now let me save this, go back and refresh. Can you see that? I'm not getting borders. Why? Have I given border property? Have I given border property? No. Clear till here? Clear till here? Now, what my requirement is, you have wait, let me display this. You have 1, 3, 5 and 2, 4, 6. Yes? You people observe here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yes? Now, for it is one single cell. It is one single cell. For each of the cell, I want to give the border. For the first cell, I want to give the border. Then I have to go here. Second cell, I have to give the border and the background color. For the third cell also, I have to give the border and the background color. How to do now? How to do? So, if you people observe here, let me go to the body tag. Yes, you have created 6 different elements for this. 6 different elements. That is your inner tag. Yes or no? You have created 6 cells for this. Now, instead of C, here I have just changed the class name. Instead of inner, I have taken it as inner 1. So, for that inner 1 means, can you, if you see the output, inner 1 means this first one, this first column. Okay. Inner 3 means the third one. Inner 5 means the next one. Clear? Done. For each of this, I want to add border and background color. For each of this, I want to add the border and background color. So now how to do this? How to do this? I have already used class selector and I have said it as inner 1. Yes or no? So now what I'll do here, I will take it as dot inner 1 and now I will say border, I will say 2 pixels, solid, and let me take it as dark blue. Okay. Let me save this and let us see whether I am getting it. Am I getting it? Am I getting it? Yes or no? Now I want to add the background color to that. Can I add the background color? Yes. So now I will be using the property called as background color and let me give it as, let me save this, go back. See now, the width of that is 100 pixels. Yes or no? Yes or no? But I have not given 100 pixel. I have used something called as auto. I have used something called as auto. By itself, it will decide the space for that. When you use the property or when you use the value called as auto, it will only decide the pixel for that. So that if you see here, the width between the first element till here and the width from here till the end of the outer container is same. Is same. Yes or no? If you want like, no ma'am, I will give my own pixel means you give your own pixel. Okay. Clear? Done. Now I want to change the color and border for the second one. How to do? How to do? I will be using inner 2. Yes or no? Okay. I will be using one property called as inner 2. And let me take this color. Which color shall I take? Okay. Let me save this. Go back and refresh. Am I getting it? Am I getting it? Now I want to add for how many inner containers? How many inner containers? 6. Let me take this as 3,
Let me change the color. 3 is over. Next one is 4. Let me again change the color. Okay. Next one is next one is 5, and let me change the color for this again. Okay. And now again the last one, that is nothing but inner 6, and then let me change the color to, okay, clear. Let me save this, go back and refresh. Can you see? The colors have been added to each cell. The colors have been added to each cell. Yes. Now, my another requirement, see what was my first requirement in grid properties? I wanted to differentiate, means I wanted to split it into 2 columns. I have splitted it. Yes. I have to tell that I have to give 2 columns, and I will use a value called as auto. That is also has happened. And for each cell, I want to give the border and I want to give the background color. That also I have done. Yes or no? Now, can you see here? This is 6. Yes. And this is 1. Yes. Now, I want to take the 6 and put it here. And I want that 1 to go there. Means I am jumbling it. Okay. I want this 6 to come to the first column, and the first column should go to the last column. How to do? So now, if you people observe here, you have something called as, this is one line. Yes. This is grid starting line. Grid starting line and grid ending line. Again, grid starting line and grid ending line. Again, grid starting line and grid ending line. When you have to rearrange the cells, now for which cell I am saying? I am telling that for the 6th cell, means inner container 6. Yes or no? Inner container 6, I want to put it in the first block. So then you have to mention something called as grid start line and grid end line. You have to mention the numbers. So what is the grid start line for this? 1. What is the grid end line? 2. Yes or no? Now what is the grid start line for this? 2. What is the grid end line? 3. Again, if I want to change for the 5th one, grid start line is 3. Grid end line is 4. Clear with this? Now, for that one, I will be using one more property called as what? Now, where I have to mention, I said that I want to remove that 6 and put it to the first one, and remove that first one and put it to the 6th one. Now, don't you think that if I directly change the 6th element and I mention the start line and end line, grid start line and end line, it will get jumbled. Will it get jumbled? Let us see. Will it get jumbled or not? Yes or no? So you will be using something called as, where inside inner 6 you will use something called as grid row start. Grid row start, and I will mention it as 1. Okay. And I have to mention the ending of that. So I will say grid grid row end. Okay. So what is the grid row end number? 2. 2. Shall I save this? Will it happen? Will it happen? What happened? Where is 1? It got shifted to the 6th one. Sorry, the second column. Why? Why? Huh? No, you no need to mention it to inner 1. No need to mention it to inner 1.
I said this 6 is here and the 1 should come at the 5th place. Yes or no? Now what is happening here, guys? Have I mentioned you have 2 columns there? Yes or no? Have I mentioned to which column number it should go? Have I mentioned to which column number it should go? Obviously, if you take the last one here, obviously it will get shifted to the first one only. Here. Done? Understood? Yes or no? Online students, clear with this? Online students, clear with grid properties? Any confusion you have? Any confusion you have? Yes or no? You will do it? You will try the same thing? Please try the same thing. ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಹಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಬೋರ್ಡಾ from here you want or from here? So if you have to rearrange with the column numbers, then what you have to mention, in whichever class you want to perform that action or you want to change that number, there you will be mentioning the grid row start number and grid row end number. Clear? Online students, except Charan, no one else is there. Except Charan, no one else is there in the class. Abhishek, Adesh, Darshan, Munesh, Navya, Purushottam, Teju. Are you people understanding? Are you people understanding? Yes or no? Done with the task? Task is over? Yes or no? Rearrange the numbers is not understood. See, rearrange the number is nothing but, see, I said that in the output, I want this 6 to be shifted to the first one. Yes or no? If you want to shift any numbers, then you will inside that number. So I want to change the 6th one. So inside the inner 6th class, I will be mentioning the grid row start number and the grid row end number. Clear? Clear, Purushottam? Purushottam? Now, can you people change with the 5th one? The 5th element should go to the second row. The 5th element should go to the second row of first column. Can you do that? Can you do that? Guys, yes or no, guys? Did you people understand or you didn't understand? Huh? Column, you have to mention the column name, that's all. Grid row column start. Grid column start and grid column end. See that you have grid column start. Okay. Which column you want? And you have to mention the grid column end number.
So changing with the columns, you have to mention the row number. Okay. Done. Here. Also. ಕರೆನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ
Guys, now people created for 3 columns. You people created for 3 columns now.
got to know how to shift the cells. That row ಕಣೋ ನಾನು ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೋ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೋ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಎಷ್ಟನೇ ಇದು where you want to shift ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನು ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೋ ಎಂಡ್ ಏನು ಏ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಹೋಗು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗು ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೋ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡು ಆಯ್ತಾ 3 columns.
Guys, done with the task? Yes or no? Yes? Yeah. Yes, please scan with your attendance. Please scan with your attendance. Please scan with your attendance. Yeah. Guys, if you have done scanning with your attendance, you can leave for the day. Tomorrow, your CSS will get over. Then we'll start with JavaScript. Okay? Done? But before that, people have to do one project. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what's the project. Okay? Done?